Hey guys, it is Thursday, August 29th, 2024, and I'm back with some free VST plugins to help you with your musical adventures and endeavors. All right, guys, I am here to wrap up the month of August 2024 themed with free VST reverbs. Of course, we're going to be touching on the last set of synths and VST instruments, VSTs for the summer months. I'm going to continue that as we get into September. It'll just have a different title, but I'll still be bringing new instrument plugins, synth and instrument plugins. But let's jump right into it for today. The free VSTs for today are as follows. First up, we have Flex Reverb. So Flex Reverb is from Playtone Studio. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And it's a fairly new one. I want to say if not late 2023, then early 2024 this was released. It was actually in 2023. It's a good looking plugin because it is fairly newly developed. Resizable interface, very nice modern looking GUI, and all the usual suspects. One of the cool things about this one is this reverb section, this EQ section, I meant to say, on the reverb, which is a pretty detailed EQ for a reverb module, for a reverb plugin. So we have a spectrum analyzer up here showing you the frequency range and activity and your EQ curve. Down here we have size of the reverb, width of your reverb, dampening, pre-delay, and then down here in this pretty detailed EQ section we have your frequency range, the Q factor, Q value, and we have the gain for the different bands in the reverb EQ. I forgot how many bands you can add, but right here I'm seeing 4 in this image, which is usually not happening if you have an EQ on a reverb. So it's a pretty detailed EQ, which I'm assuming is coming after the signal to help you shape your reverb, shape and tone the reverb, which is always good. Over here we have dB per octave settings. So we have 6, 12, 24, 36, and 48, which is once again very detailed for an EQ on a reverb. At the bottom, we round out the interface with wet dry knobs separate. So this one's a pretty decent one, and they have some presets to go with it. So definitely check that out. Next up, we have Atmosphere. So this is from Zach Sounds, and this one is very, very simple. So it's just this big knob for you to dial in wet dry, and then these little double arrows right here is just for you to hit it to get some random sounds. So the whole point of this one is to give you some big, lush, over the top, immersive reverbs with textures on it. Very dreamy, over the top. Some of them are shimmery reverb. So that's what you're gonna get every time you hit this, and that's pretty much it. You have no control of what's going on, only control over your wet and dry levels. That's it. Next up, we have Space Knobs from Abletunes. This is a part of a bundle of 3. I know there's a saturation, one knob plugin that looks similar to this. Color scheme is slightly different. So the design language is pretty much the same. They have space, and I'm trying to remember what the third one is, but I know there's a reverb and there's a saturation plugin that comes in the bundle of 3 plugins. So when you click on the link, you should see it. But for this, it's basically a mid-size room reverb. It is stereo, and all we have is an on-off switch, which is pretty much like a bypass switch. And we have a wet dry knob. That is it. I don't even think this one has presets. There's no presets on this. And I'm not sure if the interface is resizable. I want to say no, it's not. But pretty straightforward. If you're just looking to throw something on real quick, I use this a lot when I'm tracking vocals and I just need something that's not too heavy on the system that I could just crank in some reverb. I'm not going to keep it. I'm just using it while I'm tracking. So I use this one a lot for that. Last up with the reverbs, we have Pastel Reverb from Viator DSP. This one is resizable. We have on the interface here a cutoff section, which is pretty much a low pass filter. Rolling off the highs. And you dial in how much of the highs you want to roll off. We have resonance for that, resonance peaking for that. Then there is a drive knob to add a little bit of drive and grit to your reverb signal. Down here we have room size, dampening, and the width of the reverb. Over here we have a filter section with steep, and then in is just actually turning on the signal going in to the plugin. Over here we have wet dry, sliders here, and that's pretty much it. So check those out. So for the summer months of free synths and instruments, we have first up Nil K14. 1V, I should say. So with this one, very interesting. It is a very deep and rich interface and instrument. It's hard to describe the sounds because it's like a combination of synths and more natural sounding sounds. But the interesting about this one is, number one, interface is resizable. Number two, tons of presets. And the main thing is that right over here where it says sources 1 through 4, most of your presets is a combination of 2, 3, maybe 4 sounds that's coming from all four of these sources, or all 3 of these sources, depending on how many sources each presets are using. So the presets are very rich, deep, has a lot of dimension to it because you have a combination of sounds and textures happening at the same time. And you know, the combinations are interesting. You can also go in right here where it says edit source, and you can click on it and edit source 1, source 2, source 3, and you have some basic parameters here that you can edit to tweak the characteristics of the sound and also the dynamics of the sound. So very, very detailed and intuitive interface, and like I said, it is resizable. I like using this one for like a main instrument and also some layering textural instruments, but it has some nice instruments for you to lay down some chords, build some structure. So it's a pretty solid one because it has a lot of presets. It's very versatile. Next up, we have Digits. Digits is more good for like synth pads, very digital pads. Has a very synthesized sound to it. There might be a couple of sounds that you can maybe use to build your chord structure, but the sounds are not going to be that rich. They're more supporting sounds for stacking, adding textures. It should have some basses, some leads, pads, as I said before. A wide variety of types of sounds, characteristics. The interface is resizable, and like I said, there is a ton of presets there. And this one is from the developer Extent of the Jam. So last up we have Monster Drums version 3. Now this is a big one. This comes with 88 different kits at the moment for version 3. They said they'll be updating more, so soon it's going to be more kits. When I first discovered this and started using it, it had nowhere near this many kits. So this one is for the most part, it's pretty straightforward and how can I say this? It's a pretty faithful adaptation and emulation of a drum set. That's what they're going for. So if you want some real sounding live drums, majority of the presets are going to be emulating that. Different types of drum sets, whether it be funk kits, jazz kits, of course rock kits, all different forms of rock, heavy metal, country, pop rock, you name it, they have it. Tight sounding kits in a tight room. They have some crazy experimental kits. Of course, they have more electronic stuff like emulating like an 808 or like a classic drum machine. They have all those things there. There's a lot of settings. There's a mixer on it for whatever kit you add and load up. They have the mixer tracks. There's multiple outs, so you can route all the different drum kit pieces to the different tracks on your mixer for more detailed mixing and processing of each sound. It has ADSR. Most of them do have ADSR built in. There's a lot of editing and tweaking that you could do on the interface. Very flexible. Pretty much everything that you would need in a drum emulation style VST instrument. And like I said, they give you 88 drum kits to boot. So it is a very good one to check out. I've used this a couple of times. So definitely check those out, guys. The link is in the description. It'll take you to this blog page where you can check out the information here. And of course, click on the corresponding download links for the plugins that I have discussed. There's also a link in the description for a video series that I did called PC Specs and how it relates to music production. So this is basically breaking down how your DAW works along with your computer and the internal parts to help you produce music, record, mix, master, sample, everything you got to do with music production. So if you have an issue with your system where it's not performing smoothly, dealing with your workflow and your workload, you're getting glitches, hitches, clicks, pops, crashes, things are just not working smoothly, and that's messing up your creativity because you're dealing more with troubleshooting than concentrating and focusing on being creative. Definitely check out that series. It'll give you some insight on what might be causing the problem and what you should be looking for if you're looking to upgrade or get a new system or your first system for music production. How much RAM you might need, why RAM is important, what does the RAM affect with the performance and with what you're doing, how hard drive storage and hard drive size is important, why is it's important, why do you need it, why you might not need as much as you think you need. GPU, why is the GPU important, why is it becoming more important in this day and age. CPU, type of CPU, how many cores you need, core speed, clock speed of the cores, all that good stuff. So check that video series out. The link is in the description. Also, there is a link in the description for a growing playlist for these videos that I do twice a week. If you're looking for more free plugins, you will see a playlist of over 300 videos. This video will be added to that playlist as soon as this live stream is done. So if you're looking for more free plugins, definitely check out that playlist linked in the description. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. Check back next week. I'm assuming Tuesday. We should be in the new month and we'll have a new theme for the month as I bring you guys more free VST plugins to help you with your musical adventures and adventures. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, you'll see me in the next video.